Hello, dear viewers. Welcome again to our online Telebridge Africa on Allatra TV Africa. Today, we are able to gather many people from different parts of Africa to discuss the creative society. This is a society in which you, your loved ones, and everyone in the world will be able to live comfortably in all spheres of life. We are happy, and thanks to modern technology and the rule of six handshakes, we are able to bring this program to you. Now, the six handshakes is a theory that we are all connected in 5 or less social connections. Welcome, and Olga.
Thank you very much, Kanu. And I would like to say that Creative Society Project is a unique project which has been initiated by people themselves for the entire world on the volunteer basis. And people got together on 20th of December and voiced the realities of today's and announced that they want the creative society. In all cultures, there is an image of an ideal world in which people want to live. This happened on 20th of December 2020 in a global international conference, Creative Society United We Can. And the coming conference, we will have the coming conference on March 20th, 2021. It will be an international, large-scale online event, Creative Society, what the province dreamed of, initiated by participants of the project Creative Society. And I want to invite everyone, let's meet on this day and let's announce the questions which are worthy, which are very important right now for nowadays, for the society we live in. And it's important for everyone to speak out and make a choice on what society we all want to live in. And I would like to introduce Olga, this speaker from Russia, for the host from Russia, and Kanu from Nigeria. Olga.
Thank you so much, Olga, for introduction. So today we are having our third Bridge of Friendship Africa, and we are very happy to say that more and more countries are joining us in our broadcasts. Also, we have today a guest from Jordan, who was not indifferent to what is going on in our communities, and he joined us as well in the Telebridge. Also, we have countries like Nigeria, Ghana. We have also people from from other African countries, from Sudan. They will introduce themselves throughout the Telebridge. And the purpose is also to see how we can implement this creative society model in Africa, and what are the pitfalls that could be on the way. And today we would like to introduce our first speaker. Her name is Lamia from Morocco, and she'll be talking about first foundation that touched her a lot. It's the human life. So Lamia, the floor is yours. Maybe you can elaborate on more on this topic.
Thank you so much, Olga. And thank you to invite me to this Telebridge. I'm so happy to be here with you. So as you say, I will make this presentation about human values and human life. As I send you in the PowerPoints, I make a plan to make this presentation short to give the chance to the others to participate. So I focused on 3 points, like you see in the plan. First, the definition of the human values and the disciplines view. I focused on 2 disciplines, is sociology and philosophy, and 3, the relationship between the values, human values, and the creative society that we will discuss about. I don't know, as you share this PowerPoint, I need the other slide, please. The slide number 3. Number 3, please. Yes. As you can see in this picture, it results what we need to know about the human value. Before we will talk about the 3, yes, we will talk about the 5 points of the human rights, which is love and truth, peace and right conduct, and non-violence. These 5 points of human values will give us so many things. We will talk about these values of human beings, and it will give us to empower and to encourage the tolerance, the inner strength, the self-confidence, and the social skills. And the most important thing that we will discuss about is the creativity. So I will talk about the origin of the term value. It comes from the Latin word valere, which is mean to be of worth, to be worthy in this life. And of course, in the Oxford Dictionary, it defines the term value as the worth or the worth desirability or the utility of a thing. I will talk also about, yes, we will go to the disciplines view of the human values. The human values have been employed in so distinctively different ways in human discourse. It's often said that a person has a value or an objective has a value. These 2 usages have been explicitly recognized by writers in various disciplines, such as Charles Mortris and John Dewey in philosophy, Brewster Smith in psychology, and Robin Williams in sociology. Of course, I will not talk right now about them all or about what they say about human values. Maybe we will make another presentation about this, but I will just give you a view about what they say. The sociologists are concerned with the question like value, diversity, value clashes, value tensions, value conflicts, and social change, socialization, innovation, modernization, and preferred future. The legitimacy of the sociologist is based on the task of examining the social relations and process as valuation phenomena. In fact, value is an abstract term which is commonly regarded as an economic conception. Now we are going to the philosophical view. There is in the word of John Dewey, he is a philosophical and he said that the value means primarily to price, to esteem, and to appraise, to estimate. It means the fact of tracing something, holding it clear, and also the act of passing judgments upon the nature and amount of its value as compared with something else. Now we are going to the last slide when we're talking about the human values and the creative society. As we can say, the importance of the human values, there is not and never can be anything else more valuable than the human's life. So if we give the priority to the humanity and the human, we can provide a future without wars, without conflicts, without violence, without hunger, but a future where we can find the peace, the love, the creativity, and the development in the high level. As I talked before in the other telebridge, I mentioned something very important is the happiness. How the happiness can give us the creativity. And when we talk about the happiness, we talk about love, about peace. If we have a country or a society where we can find this love and all the good things, of course, we can create a creative society. So, what we need to do is to encourage the human values and the human unity, the creativity, and the importance of being active in the life. And we can do this by the media. Here, I want to mention the important role of the media in our life. How the media can encourage people to do good things, and in the same way, how we can encourage them to do the bad things. So the media play a really important role in our life. This is what I can say about the human values and how it is very important to make our society more creative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Human value. Go ahead, Connor.
Carry on, Olga. Carry on.
Okay, so now I would like to ask Huda from Sudan to present her speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ola. Good evening, everyone. I'm Huda Biajo from South Sudan. Actually, we're not from Sudan.
Sorry.
I'm a medical doctor, currently living in Egypt. I'm doing my specialization in general surgery. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm here to actually talk about just 2 points that can be under the third foundation, which is human safety. Because from my prospect as a doctor, I can add just like 2 or 3 points. The first point is, okay, we are no longer talking about the availability and the accessibility of free medical services as one of the rights of any human, but we're looking for ways to improve human life and working for the welfare of the humankind. So one particular area that I see very important, I would like to start with is to put more emphasis on the community medicine and on public health. So public health is a huge part of the modern medicine that we in the third world tend to sometimes underestimate. But in the first world, public health specialist or community medicine specialist is greatly or highly appreciated. And the reason for that is investing more in researches or working for eradicating the diseases that are possible to be eradicated, especially for us here in Africa. We have the tropical diseases that are possibly eradicated if we put the effort and if we build the system that will do so. So yeah, that's a very important point. Another thing is immunization programs and generally just working on bettering the environment that we live in. That way, we will work at preventing the diseases from happening at the first place, which not only working for the welfare of the humankind, but also the effort being made at treating the diseased or the ill patient will be greatly reduced, which is also because, of course, we'll have less sick patients. So it's very important. Another thing, the second point that I would like to jump in is how the technology has come nowadays um, in working at the improving human life. I would like to talk about what we call nanotechnology. Probably most of you have heard about, which is basically a continuation of microtechnology, development of the microtechnology. Um, so basically, we know nano. The prefix nano means the one billions of the starting unit. That means if we take like a gram, 1 gram, you divide one gram into billion particles, and you take one particle. Can you imagine how tiny that would be? Very tiny fragment. So this technology, they say if microtechnology works at the level of the matter, the nanotechnology will provide manipulations at the level of atoms. So yeah, nanotechnology is real revolutionary leap forward in the world of understanding, in the world understanding in general, and human life improvement. Um, so how are we going to do that? Nanotechnology will create artificially different materials and robots that as tiny, as small as nanoparticles. Um, This technology will open huge possibilities before humankind at different aspects, not only in medicine, but also in industries, engineering, and also education. They say you can hold a device in your pocket that can have all the books from all the libraries around the world. So it's something crazy. In medicine, particularly, if you can imagine to take a glass of water with nanorobots in it that you won't even feel. These robots will not only painlessly and accurately diagnose the illnesses that you have, but will also restore back your health and treat the illness completely. Just as simple. So, and it's also lifelong and once and for all kind of effect. So, yeah, we are talking at a different level of revolution in the world of technology. Um, Also, these robots can cross the blood-brain barrier, so they are meant to treat mentally sick patients, and uh, those hopeless cases, even the congenital anomalies. You know, and nowadays it sounds like a science fiction, but who knows? In the coming years, it will become possible. So yes. I think this is my second point.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Huda from South Sudan.
Yes.
Uh, that was quite interesting to learn, especially about the nanotechnology. We
Yeah.
will invite our third speaker, that is Victor. If Victor is ready, we will listen to him. Victor
Yes,
is also going to talk on human safety.
sorry, before we invite Victor, I would like um, uh, to ask our technical support to show us all 8 foundations of creative society, as already 2 speakers mentioned human value and human safety. And I would like to ask our technical support to show us all the foundations. And let me mention that these foundations were formed as a result of different polls and interviews all over the world in more than 180 countries. And these 8 foundations were formed by people. This is truly what people want. And do we have them on screens yet?
Thank you, our technical support team, for sharing this video. And it's very nice to hear that, yes, the human safety, it's important provision. And when we talked about nanorobots, it's very important also to highlight that these nanorobots that Dr. Huda was just explaining to us can be used either way. So basically you can drink the glass of water, and obviously if you have nanorobots that will be repairing your body at the same time, and you will be feeling much better. But at the same time, it depends also on the internal values of the doctor, because some of the technology, they are available, they do exist, but this simply cannot be implemented because of the consumer society, because there is no guarantee if the doctor does not have a pure heart, what the doctor will be putting inside this glass of water. Also nanorobots that will destroy the cell, or the nanorobots that will repair the cell inside of us. So that's why we would like to again to say that of course the internal values of this noble profession, because being a doctor, I think it's very respected and very exciting profession at the same time. We must also think about the internal values of the doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Huda. Maybe other guests, before we are coming to our second part of our telebridge, we'll ask you some questions. And now, as already Kanu, our guest, was presented, and Victor, if you hear us now, maybe you also can continue about human safety. So if you can hear us now.
I don't think he's with us right now. Maybe he'll join us later to continue. And as the continuation of what he was saying, of course it's important that the format of society is not because consumeristic, but creative one, to use all those nanotechnologies to serve people, not to use it for like wars or militarization, right?
Yes, certainly, I agree with you, and we would like also to then give the floor to our next speaker, Jose, but also let us see if he's with us. If he's not, then we are coming to Kanu, who at the same time he's a co-host and a presenter. So we hope that our guests, Victor and Jose, maybe will join us on the way. So we'll give them the floor. And now let me introduce also Kanu from Nigeria, who will be talking about how he see like creative society in Africa, about topic that is not so easy to do, but I'm sure he will do it very successfully, ethnic conflicts.
Thank you, Olga. And hello, everyone, once again. I'm not going to talk about the ethnic conflicts in Africa per se, because this is already a well-known fact. For example, it is a fact that Nigeria fought a civil war due to ethnic rivalries between 1967 and 1970. And it's also a fact that in recent memory, Rwanda also fought a very bitter civil war owing to the same ethnic conflict. Well, this was leave a very bitter taste on our lips, and that also is another fact. But the question is, what have we done, in order to prevent a reoccurrence of ethnic conflicts in Africa? Well, apparently, there had been several peace conferences, and perhaps there had also been truth and reconciliation panels, but still, there are echoes of ethnic hostilities almost everywhere in Africa. Apartheid, we know, may have been forgotten, but there are still flashes of xenophobic rivalries in South Africa. There are still subtle constitutional provisions in our national declarations in which one person is held to be an indigene and another is rejected as a non-indigene. Um, there is also still the conflict we experience between majority and minority ethnic groups. If it is not ethnic rivalry over market and territory, then it is for power and profit. So I'm not going to talk about them. Rather, let us talk about how to build, how to bridge these conflicts in Africa. Since what we're talking about today is our dreams of building a creative society in which everyone, our loved ones, will, find peace and live comfortably. As I understand it, this is the main reason for today's Bridge of Friendship program, in which all of us are participating and which viewers are also listening. So I'm going to base my discussion on the subject of the second and eighth foundations of the creative society. Let me start this way, that, pardon me, I'm not a historian, but the little knowledge I have of secondary school knowledge I have of West African history, we were taught that ancient Songhai Empire comprises of many people who are living today in Nigeria, Mali, Niger Republic, Sudan, both South and Northern Sudan. So the Hausas in Nigeria, for example, have relations in Niger Republic, in Sudan, in Mali, and in Ghana. And I also know that in Nigeria here, sorry, I'm using Nigeria as a micro example. In Nigeria here, the Tiv people of Benue State, they claim to have their origin from the Bantu. The Bantu are predominantly in East and South Africa. And I also know that the Yoruba people also claim to have affinity with people in Benin Republic, in Togo, and even as far as Brazil, Jamaica, and Haiti. Well, the Igbo man will tell you that he has his brothers in Cote d'Ivoire, in Gabon, as well as in Central African Republic. I can go on and on. Yet, today, what do we have? These groups are all divided by political boundaries, permit me to call them artificial political boundaries, that are denoted by this little word, ethnic groups. Now, what is interesting is this. The origin of that word, ethnic, is from the Greek ethnikos. Ethnikos means hidden, or what we generally refer to as pagan. Because in the Middle Ages, this word is used to denote a person who is not a Christian or a Jew. Well, today it has been modified, and the Latin use of the word ethnos to mean state, but still it refers to people of one's kind. But at the heart of ethnicity are ego, fear, and division, so that any solution to human problems that are founded on it is bound to lead to dead end, as currently experienced not only in Africa, but all over the world. My solution is simple. All people are human. And if everyone is treated as a human, then there is no need for us to qualify one as a pagan or a heathen or people not of my own kind. So I'm going to ask the technical team, because I want to read out the second foundation. I will ask the technical team to please, if they could show it on the screen, and I will read it out. Yeah, that is it there. I will read it out. The second foundation is human freedom. And I want you to listen carefully to this. It says, every human is bound with the right to be a human being. All people are born free and equal. Everyone has the right to choose. There can be no one and nothing on earth above a human, his freedom and his rights. The implementation of human rights and freedom must not violate the rights and freedom of others. Permit me not to make much comment on it, but I would say that ethnic theories generally manipulate people by feeding on their fear, especially that land is fixed in nature, that we have been told in economics, that population is expanding at geometric proportion, so that the earth resources will not be enough to go around for everyone on the planet. Nothing can be further from the truth than this, because new scientific findings, thanks to Allatraunites science, are proving that the earth has enough resources to support thrice the current number of the world population. And if we had listened carefully well, Dr. Huda was making her presentation, the nanotechnology, for example, just imagine what it could do if it is used judiciously for the improvement of all humans. So I want you to imagine Africa where there is cooperation and collaboration, and where the concept of power and privilege is absent, where every person is judged not by the color of their skin or the length of their nose, but everyone is treated as a human. So please permit me again to invite you to watch this video clip with participation of Igor Danilov. Please, technical team again, could you please play us that video clip where Igor Danilov was speaking on the prospects of civilization. Please, let's watch and listen carefully.
You see, and no futurologist will tell you what will happen tomorrow if people really want this. You know, if people went ahead and changed the situation, and it will no longer be that way. This opportunity is given to a human. The main thing is for him to use it.
Igor Mikhailovich, are there, let's say, any ways to soften and somehow change?
The future?
Yes.
This is people's choice. This is people's world. It's your world and you create it. But whether to Satan's dictation or by the inner spiritual aspiration, well, the choice is yours. That's the point. Freedom of choice. This is really the freedom of choice. To live or die, to be or not to be. It's people who decide and choose. Nobody will do it for them. Even the devil cannot dictate here what to do, how and how to behave. This is a choice of people.
You've also said that it's basically impossible to avoid cataclysms, but they could be not so... Their consequences could be not so...
Yes, let's say, not so disastrous for humanity.
Yes, but simply observing what is happening in the modern world, because after all, there are many attempts to change the situation or to stop hurricanes.
Humanity is just unable, well, here is important to take into account something else. For example, modern technologies, let's say, theoretically, they can make it possible to slightly decrease the level of wind speed, the destructive level of that very hurricane, right? But there's the energy conservation law. If they decrease it at one point, it will increase at other points. It's inevitable. And then, having picked up speed and steam, it will come back only with greater power. And what did they win? After all, everything that happens here in the visible world originates in the invisible world.
That is...
A simple example. You read and you see. And everything that you see and read originates there in the boards, and these are just ones and zeros. While here you see the text which you read to us. Here's a simple example.
Meaning...
That's where it should be changed. But again, it can be changed there as long as there is energy in this tablet. And today we've said that, well, to put it simply, humanity can recharge its tablet. Otherwise, its battery will simply be removed.
Oh, thank you, the technical team, but I would want to apologize for that poor reception. The audio wasn't very loud enough, but you can also watch that clip by going to our website at Allatraunites.com TV English. There you can search for that video clip, The Prospect of Civilization. Thank you. But before I end my presentation on conflicts in Africa, please permit me to just share this experience I had, from my dog Hala and my cat Catherine. What we know is that cats and dogs don't usually have a positive relationship. Even in our idiom, it's when we want to describe a very turbulent storm, we say it rained cats and dogs. But it's different with my dog and my cat because they are getting on pretty well. So I sometimes when I look at them, I ask myself, what changed? But what I found out is, what the conclusion I came to, just like at that clip, is our human choice. The living condition changed for them. Both of them live on my territory, permit me to use that word, where their essential necessities, including food, housing, medical care, education, and social security, is free and guaranteed. So what are they to fight for? What is the ethnic conflict all about? It's because we fight for these things. So I believe that, dear listeners, if we change the conditions, the living conditions in Africa, from this consumer-oriented, let me put it that way, format, to a humane, creative society, ethnic conflict should be a thing of the past. But before I go, please, I invite you to watch this drama. It's a short drama where we try to depict what the creative society should look like. Technical team, please play us the last video on the short drama from Africa. Thank you.
Hi Alex, let's have a call with Africa. Let's have a try. Let's see. Good. Okay. Hi, Kano. Hi, Kano.
Hello, Alex. Hello, John. I'm eating breakfast, you know, beans.
Nice coffee.
Coffee? Ah, we have great coffee in Africa. Like this one is from Cote d'Ivoire. And with such a great taste. You know what? I'm going to invite you guys to come to Africa and have a taste of our coffee.
No borders?
Borders? No. There are no restrictions of movement in Africa. We go freely everywhere we want to. Just last week I was in Niger Republic. From there I went to see a friend in Chad. I was in their capital in Germany. And after that I went to Cameroon. The roads were free, no harassment, nothing. There is free movement in Africa.
Did they build the creative society in Africa? Yes, they did it.
Oh, young man, you're here.
Please, let's share some foods. This is great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, I used the term drama. It's a video clip. And you see, in that video clip, all we are trying to say is that the creative society is like that sports car, that faulty car. It will take all of us joining to just give it a little push, and off it goes. So I am inviting you. You might have some creative idea. You could, join us. Let's make video clips in order to pass information about this dream society to the world. Thank you, but I will humbly beg Habib. I'm passing the word to him. Habib, please, can you take it away from me? Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Good evening, everyone. Yes, it's a very good presentation, and we have learned a lot from your presentation. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I I will talk on creation of emergency evacuation. Yeah, that's what I will talk on today. When we talk about creation of emergency evacuation is very important to guarantee a human safety. Yeah, we have many foundation of creative society, but the creation of emergency evacuation is part of the human safety, which I will say something. Yeah, human life is important, as it has been mentioned by many people. We know nothing more valuable than the human life. So for us to guarantee safety for human life, there are many things that we need to do. Many things happen to people living in different places around the world. So when something is happening, like disasters, natural disasters, or something of that nature, we need an emergency evacuation. Yeah. So what I'm talking about here is that I can mention many examples that some countries are more powerful than others. Yeah, as I said, yes, some countries are powerful than the others. So when we are talking about the creation of emergency evacuation. We know there are many countries that can help in state of emergency to save lives. I can give example with what happened in 2020 here in Niger Republic. I'm from Nigeria, so I'm from northern part of Nigeria. I'm so close to Niger Republic. We have sense of community with Niger. If I can recall, an American was kidnapped somewhere in Niger, and he was rescued from the Americans within some hours, not even a day. So if, for instance, American has that power to rescue someone who was kidnapped here in Africa, in Niger Republic, that means American can help other countries, like my country, Nigeria. We have been in trouble, insecurities everywhere. For example, we know the issue of Boko Harams, we know the issue of Fulani headsmen, and so many other crises that are happening here in Nigeria. So if, for instance, Nigeria is not powerful enough to, tackle the crisis that is happening, let other countries that have the power to that have the power more than the Nigeria to help Nigeria to stop the crisis, to evacuate, or to do something important. Yes, that is very, very important. So emergency evacuation is important in terms of kidnapping, maybe earthquake or natural disaster, and so many other things. This is what I really want to talk about. And the second thing I really want to talk on today is lack of unity that we have among the African countries. You know, African is the second large continent in the world, if I'm not mistaken, and Nigeria is the giant of Africa. But why is it that always we have this unity in African countries? We are all Africans, though we don't even have to be proud of saying we are all African. The human being, we are all human beings. We have so many things that we share. Before I explain my perception or what I understood causing the disunity among the African countries, I would like to mention an example. I traveled to southern Nigeria recently. I was sitting with a lady from different religion, different tribe, and everything. I was talking to her, asked her, why is it that we are in the same country, but we always have misunderstanding? This person will say, no, I'm from this tribe. This one will say, I'm from this tribe. I say, okay, look, sister, why won't us look up the other things that we have in common? For instance, now you and I am Hausa by tribe. For instance, you are Yoruba by tribe. Yes, I believe that. But let's now, yes, and then you are a Christian, then I am a Muslim. But that is not enough to cause misunderstanding between us, because what we have in common is more than what we are lacking or the misunderstanding we have. I told her, I give her an example. For instance, look at now, you are a human being, I am a human being. That's the first thing you will consider first. No reason to hate anybody from any country, from any tribe, from any religion, from any society. That's my understanding. If we always look at what we share, what we have in common, we will not hate one another. I told her that I am a human being, you are a human being. That's number one. Number two, we are Africans. Number three, we are from the same country. Number four, we have the same, we are from the same race, and we have so many things that we have in common. Why is it that just because we have different beliefs, then you hate me or I hate you? To me, that is wrong. So I'm going to talk about what is causing the disunity among the African countries. Okay? There are many things that people consider are the major reasons for disunity among the African countries. Some people may say due to religion, some people may say due to economy, some people may say tribalism, some will mention so many other reasons. But for me, religion is not the major cause, or is not even the cause of disunity among the African countries. Because what I know, in Africa, we have almost 54 countries here in Africa, and no none of this country that has Christian or 100% or Muslim 100%. In every country, in each of the African countries you go, there must be Christian, there must be Muslim. Why is it that a Christian, for instance, from Nigeria, I mean, maybe it's not united, or it dislikes Christian, maybe from Cote d'Ivoire or Mali or somewhere around the world. That means religion is not the cause of disunity, or it is not the cause, yeah, as I said, of disunity in Africa. Okay, that's number one. Then tribalism, for me, that will not be the reason too, because we have many tribes. Like me, for instance, as a living example, I am a Hausa man by tribe, but maybe someone from Niger or somewhere around the African countries is Hausa and may not like me, or may not have the same opinion, or will not like to come join me and join together as Africans to bring what will make the Africans better. Okay, so religions and then tribalism, to me, they are not the cause of disunity among the African countries, as I said. What I consider as the cause of this is economy. I think economy is one of the reasons of disunity in Africa. For example, just last year in 2020, Nigerians' land borders were closed down, and many African countries are complaining, saying they were mentioning many things about Nigeria, and that can lead to disunity, because maybe they are getting some things from Nigeria, or Nigeria is getting some things from the other country that will boost, the economy of the African countries. So since now the Nigerian land borders are closed, are closed or are locked down, that means the transaction of goods and services will no longer be. So that can create disunity or lack of unity among the African countries. And if I didn't forget, even in Ghana, it happens just maybe 2020. Some of the Nigerians who are living in Ghana, they faced some challenges from Ghanaian. Okay, you see, if we can see this, it's not because of their religion, or it's not because of their nationality, it's also caused by what? Economy. So if we can settle the economy issue, and then the other thing I can mention is politics. Whatever is the cause of disunity within the country, that may be the same cause of disunity within the African continent in general. Even here in Nigeria, I also mention example with Nigeria because I am Nigerian. I know what happens in my country. So even here in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, we are not that united. Despite we are from the same country. And I would say, no, now I'm a northerner, I'm from the northern Nigeria. I don't care what happened in the south, which is wrong. That's what is killing us. That's what is causing a lot of problem in world entirely. Because if something is happening in my country, and maybe you are from Ghana or you are from Sudan, and you just keep quiet and you don't even feel worried about what is happening in my own country, it's wrong. It's very, very wrong. Because what is happening in my country today, if you didn't help me to tackle it, one day it will migrate, or it will be in your own country. So it happens within the country, and it happens among the African countries. As I said, politics is another cause of disunity among the African countries. So what I will say in a nutshell, we need to create awareness. Lack of awareness is one of the major problems of causing all this unity in African countries. Because if we educate people, we tell them the importance of creative society and the importance of human life and the human safety, I know there will be a time that the entire world will be like a family. Everybody will live in peace. Everybody will love one another. And that is what we are targeting. And that is where we are heading to. And with time, we will learn to the target point. Let me not take much of your time. I know there are a lot of people waiting to say something. This is what I understand. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much for voicing these very important actually issues that in every African countries there are some, at least several ethnic groups living together, and plus due to the interconnectedness of like our economies, we have just seen African video clip when we have coffee from Cote d'Ivoire, we have like banana from Sudan, we are eating, I don't know, some other food from several African countries. So everything is becoming too much already interconnected. And also, thank you so much for proposing this and addressing this basic human values, the friendship, love, and humanity. And we just had our preparation call yesterday, and in our preparation call, I think more than 30 people, even maybe 40 participated, but it's coming with surprise every time that in the actual Telebridge, only, you know, half of the people are disappearing somewhere, and only those who have courage, they really, you know, can voice the truth. And in our preparation call, it was a speaker from Tanzania, was supposed to be a speaker, who said like at least a climate change can also unite us. So we do have this and this human values by virtue of belonging to humanity, but also in the worst case, like in the very worst case, if we forget about these fundamental things, the climate is also the change, the drastic change of climate also on the African continent is pushing us to reconsider certain things. And our participant from Allatra group from America sent us a video, and she's talking in this video about importance of creation of the unified global service that is dealing with emergency cases. And after this, we will also ask the question to our guests who are present today in the 2 days Telebridge, whether it's important also to create and the same unified global service on African continent, and what is their opinion. So our technical support team will show us, to us now the video clip of Olga Schmidt from Allatra, USA.
Thank you to our technical support for this, for showing us this video. And this is very vital questions that were raised, that according to the climate change we all facing right now in different countries of the world, we all should think also about what are we going to do if we have to move, or other people will have to move, migrate from different countries. Are we ready to meet people like our friends, like invite them to our family, share what we have with those ones who are in need? And would anyone in our roundtable today would like to comment on this video they just heard? Anyone?
Maybe later on, also in the last part, in the end of our Telebridge, maybe the guests will formulate the questions. So after maybe we will hear all the presentations. We can also do it this way, I think, if so far no questions.
Okay, if no one would like to speak on this video, or maybe share his opinion on this video or what we just heard, then I would like to also remind that on March 20th, 2021, at 1500 GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, there will be an international large-scale online event, Creative Society, What the Prophets Dreamed of, initiated by the participants of the project Creative Society. And I would like to say that this conference should reveal what really prophets were coming for, what society they were describing, they dreamed of, where society where all people are friends, society where people love one another, and or society we live in right now. So I would like to invite everyone to this conference. You can also participate in this conference, prepare some information. Anyway, if you would like to participate, you can text us, comment on the video, and we will contact you and tell you more about the ways you can participate. But really, everyone can participate in it, and we are all volunteers, and everyone who ready, everyone can do it. And all together, united, there is nothing that we can't do. United, we can do big events, conferences, raise very vital topics, answer them, and actually move towards creative society, society we all want to live in. Maybe we can watch the short trailer about the conference. If our technical support will show us.
Unprecedented event of present history. Initiative that comes from people around the world. Main project of humanity. People stopped being silent about urgent issues of our society. How it all started. May 2019, International Online Conference, Society, The Last Chance. 140 countries of the world. Hundreds of thousands of people online, hundreds of broadcast platforms, translated into 7 languages simultaneously. If we all want to live in peace, why do we have a world of violence and destruction? It is up to us to build a different world. How can we do it? December 2020, Creative Society, United We Can. 180 countries of the world, millions of people online, thousands of streaming platforms, 35 languages simultaneously translated. People have voiced today's reality and what they truly desire. And it is the creative society. All cultures have an image of the ideal world people want to live in. A world that prophets talked about. The time has come when we can make it real. How will we use this chance? Let's meet March 20, 2021, 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. International online event of global scale. Creative Society, what the prophets dreamed of. This is the day the world will unite to find out the truth, join the entire humanity, and spread the message.
It was very nice to watch this video because we'll be coming again to this global gathering about how we can implement creative society in all the countries, not only on the African continent, but everywhere, because everybody feels this internal deep need to change the things. I think everyone will agree with it. And we also were very happy when we realized that our guests got interested in the 4th foundation. It's transparency and openness of information for all. And there were actually several speakers who wanted to share their opinion about this foundation. So obviously we see it's very important, I mean, for people. And we just would like to invite Elton from Mozambique to give us his opinion why this foundation attracted his attention and why he thinks we, all of us, should pay attention to this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Elton from Mozambique. I'm a computer engineer, and at the moment, I'm pursuing my master's in business administration. Sorry. So what attracted me to this topic, which is transparency and openness of information for all, is the fact that till today, this is a big problem amongst the African countries, and especially for the poorest countries, because this might be the major cause that doesn't make the countries develop as they should. First of all, can I have the screen for this topic, please?
Maybe we can read this fourth foundation, and also maybe you can read it first, so to get others and our viewers aware of this foundation. So if you could be so kind, just first of all to read it.
Okay. So as it says, every human has the right to receive reliable information about the movement and distribution of public funds. Each human has access to information about the status and implementation of society's decisions. The mass media belongs exclusively to society and reflect information truthfully, openly, and honestly. So, what happens is, first, information access is the ability to gather, retrieve, and use this information effectively. But there should be a resolution of inadequate information, especially for the developing nations in Africa, in order to build and maintain a consistent economy. But within this situation, we have something that is called digital divide, which is the gap between those who have technological access and those who does not have this technological access. And this happens because there are two reasons why we have this digital divide. One, because we have excessive information centralized. We are all Africans, and we know that in most of our countries, the information might only, the real or the adequate information might only reach sometimes only to the capital cities or some privileged cities, and those who are out of the cities and the townships and the villages, they don't get the proper information about what's going on in our countries, what's going on in about politics, economics. That's why when it's time for the elections, the politicians, they go where the people they don't have the information about the real situation in the country, because they know that it will be easy to convince them if they compare with the people that they have access to the information, which is the people that are living in the towns, the capitals, outside the townships and all. And due to this, I think the big and the huge challenge that the mass media has, especially the journalists, is to make the information reach by the means that we have, which I think the most used means at the moment in Africa will be radio, because people don't have access to, in Mozambique especially, only not even 20% of the population has access to a mobile phone, and not even to a smartphone where they can have access to information easily whenever they want, wherever they want. So I think investing and making information reach to the people who doesn't have the means to have these things will be the biggest challenge for the mass media, especially to the journalists in these days. So this is my solution for this. And there are some information access technologies the governments are trying to implement these days, such as portals on each and every city related to public administration and information. But what happens is the information that they put on there, it's not updated, it's not of public interest, and it doesn't even, it's not even diversified. It's just one topic and that's all. One example is this: we don't have reports, we don't have auditing reports, we don't have surveys, we don't have expansions, we don't have any information about tenders, contracts, revenues, and expenses that is being managed by the government, for example, I would say. So this is the real situation. And as I explained, that will be my solution for this. Thank you. My point is here.
Thank you so much, Elton, for your presentation. And you mentioned very important point that we have one-sided story. So the mass media present us only one angle of what is going on, and we are getting fragmented information of different events. And it's also not the issue with Mozambique, it's also the issue with other countries. Like I'm from Russia, we also, have this, we don't have like the access to reliable information, and that's unfortunately true. And together in this bridge of friendship, we are trying to figure out what we can do. To make different steps to create a demand for this reliable and open information. And we have also with us two speakers, Nicholas from Senegal, and also we have Jerry from Ghana, who will be talking about the issue of transparency and openness of information from different perspectives. And after that, we will see what are the main points of these three presentations, because we realize that this issue is important for all African countries and not African as well. So Nicholas, maybe you can also introduce yourself and give us your opinion. How do you see the application of the fourth foundation for the creative society?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicholas Godwin. I am a web content developer, and as the basics of my profession, you can't twist the truth, okay? So apparently that would explain the reason why this topic is of very crucial importance to me, because you online, which is the environment where I am always on, the biggest currency is not money, it's trust. It's people trusting the information you are sharing with them. That's the reason why they are going to maybe listen to you. The whole idea of the reason why issues like fake news became big is because people want trust. The reason why people are coming against big companies is because they feel like they can be trusted with their information. So trust is the foundation of what happens over the internet. And so you can imagine if everyone lied to themselves or we lied to each other about things, and we're not transparent about how we do things, the whole concept of using the internet itself is going to collapse. So that gives you a picture of what's happening on a national scale, where governments are lying, the media is lying, influential people are lying. So it's probably explaining the reason why this is important. So I'm going to be talking about the fourth foundation and transparency and openness of information for all. And now, as you can see right on your screen there, every human has a right to receive reliable information about the movement and distribution of public funds. Each human has access to information about the status of the implementation of society's decisions. The mass media belongs exclusively to society and reflects information truthfully, openly, and honestly. All right, the next slide, please. So Now, truth, you know, the reason why this is important, the reason why the reason why transparency is important is that it nurtures trust in humanity. Not so many people are going to trust someone who lies to them, right? So it nurtures trust in humanity. That's the number one reason why we should take this really seriously. We want a society where we can be safe, right? Just imagine that your doctor lied to you about your health. Imagine that your construction worker lied to you about the material he used to construct your building. Imagine that your automobile company lied to you about the safety of your automobile. You can see that's exactly what's happening in places like government and in the media, where lie is allowed. We're allowing those kind of, that's why we're having crashes. We're having societal crashes because the truth is not even out there. So that's why it's critical for us to pay attention to this, because if we continue to allow these lies to live on, it's just like allowing doctors to lie about our health. It's like allowing those things to happen. So it's not just trust. Another thing that makes this crucial and important is it helps to raise the important conversations about what society should be doing and not doing with our money and resources. All right. Not everybody is okay with, if parents know that the government is spending money in buying weapons that they are going to use to send their children to war, I think they'll be more emphatic about, let's not do this. Let's stop treating society this way. If everything is transparent and we know that government probably overspends on certain things that you should really not pay attention to, where we know that people are lobbying the government with money, and we can explain, okay, how did the government receive this money? How did this person in power receive that money? Then there'll be a lot of, we can have that conversation and people are going to like handle it more carefully. All right. So that's why somebody says that democracy dies in darkness. I've forgotten who said that. I know it's one of those ancient philosophers. So the whole idea is that when things are not in the open, you invite lies, you invite insincerity, you make transparency difficult. So another reason why transparency is critical is we all contribute through taxes, at least at the world we live in right now. As we move forward as a creative society and we do away with things like taxes, that will probably not matter anymore, or it will transition to a different type of contribution. All right, at every level, we'll have to contribute. Everybody has to be a part of this. So whatever we contribute through taxes or some other thing, the point is that everybody's contributing. So it's reassuring to know what's happening to your contribution, what's happening to all the resources you give away. There are countries that pay up to 40% of their salaries in different types of taxes. All right. So so how it's reassuring to know that this money is going in things that you really care about. You know, I wouldn't feel bad if you take 40% of my money and I'm seeing that it's helping somebody who is not privileged to have that type of resources. That's fine. But I'll feel troubled if you take 40% of my money to build weapons so that you can kill other people. You know, so that's the reason why transparency is important. Another reason why transparency is important is that it's easier for leaders to be accountable if there is a standing culture of transparency. All right, where people know that you have to be transparent. Just like when you get to the bus station, everybody knows you have to get a ticket. All right, so nobody needs to try to convince you to get a ticket because you know that's normal. You have to get a ticket. That's the way you get in the bus. So the same way now, there's a standing law that you have to be transparent. So you naturally would even think of not being transparent because that's the way it's done. So that's another reason. Another important reason why we should pay attention, we should be more transparent, or why we should pay attention to transparency is, okay, now I think I have covered the basic 4 reasons that I want to cover, but the next thing is, how can we move towards a more transparent society? Okay, now we understand the reasons, now we understand all the things that should drive transparency. how do we move towards that? How do we go past talking about it and doing something about it? So I said, I don't think we have a dearth of information, all right? So the world is no more 1920 or 1921. In 1921, you will say, oh yeah, people need to be educated, they need information. The truth is right now, there are very few places that don't have access to information. Yeah, I'm aware that there are probably places where internet is slow, and but to be honest with you, I've been fortunate not to be in those places, because even the remote places I've been to, they have internet. The remote places I've gone to have internet, so I wouldn't say that there are too many places where you would have you wouldn't have internet. But even at that, even if that's the reality, I do not think that the absence of internet is a big issue as much as the people who have internet doing something about it, okay? Having access to information, that's what I mean by having internet. Yeah. Now, I don't think that information is a problem. I think we are not using the information we have. I think that's the real problem. The real problem is somebody knows something and does nothing about it. You know that you could help in this way, but okay, yeah, I know that, and then you just go on with your life as if you don't know it. So it's just like you have the solution and you don't implement it. It's as good as not having a solution. So what we have to do now is, we know that the media and the government is lying to us, okay, most of the time. Okay, but we still choose to buy those stereotypes. Somebody tells me a story about some people from a particular race or culture. Somewhere in my mind, I know, well, it's not completely true, but I choose to buy it. I choose to respond in that way towards that thing, because somehow the stereotype feels like the only reality I know. So that's one thing about it. So, we are aware that these stereotypes are not correct, but we tend to pay attention to them. We're aware that taxpayer money is going to waging wars and doing other abominable things, but we do nothing. Okay, it's that inaction that's getting in the way, right? The inaction is really the problem. So what's really the answer? What's really the answer to transparency? The answer to transparency is action. It's that simple. It's do something. If you're talking about grand scale solutions, the way to achieve grand scale solution is to solve the immediate problems around you. Just imagine that everybody in this room did something about educating the people that they know around them about how to use media, all right? Not to, for example, I have children, so I tell them the importance of not completely judging things at first sight. Don't see something and say, oh yeah, what I'm seeing is exactly what it is. There can't be any other side I'm not seeing. I think that's one thing. So if you can start educating two persons around you, all right? Just imagine 2 multiplied by the people in this room now, you begin to have the effect, all right? And just imagine those 2 people educate other 2 people about how to handle information. There'll be less, people will be more informed, people will be more open, transparent to treat things transparently, all right? So I'm just gonna go ahead. Action is the biggest issue here, and how can we take action right now? Start local media companies owned by communities. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to start like really, really grand ones. The internet offers the opportunity for us to start online radio, which won't cost so much. So, and people do listen to online radio a lot. In fact, people listen to podcasts these days. There are podcasts everywhere about all sorts of things. So, starting off some podcasts that treat specific situations for people to begin to understand how to use media and how to access information. Now, I'm talking about 2 things. I'm talking about transparency in 2 lights. There's the transparency of how to use media. That means, how do you treat information? You don't just take information and say, okay, what I just heard now is the whole story. When you take it, say, okay, I heard that. Okay, what other side of this story am I not hearing? What other part of this don't I know yet? Okay, so that's one part. So being curious to treat information as something you can that needs verification, that's one part. Then a second part of transparency is exposing people to the opportunities that they are blind to. All right, people who could benefit from information are not benefiting from the information because they are somehow not aware that that information even exists. So somehow it's some lack of transparency to some extent because they're not aware that they can actually benefit from those things. So the first thing we can do is start local media companies or start local media outlets that the community owns. So when the community owns it, it's less likely that there'll be some propaganda. It's less likely that somebody wants to take over the system. So that's one part. I'm not going to stay too much on this so that I don't take too much of our time. But another thing is educate people. I've mentioned this number 2 a little bit. Educate people of the opportunities around them and get them to commit to acting on that knowledge. All right. This I have started more recently. I figured out here in Senegal, working online is like really strange. People, when you say you work online, people are like, okay, what do you do there? So, all my life, all my adult life, I've practically worked online straight from the universities. More than a decade ago, I've worked online. So for me, it's normal. But for some people who this feels really strange, they don't know that there are opportunities you can take online. That you can express your skills online. You can sell or you can trade on something that you have learned and get paid for it. So I've started doing this for free. I took up some people and I'm trying to show them, trying to train them on how to use the internet to earn income. All right, so another thing is don't listen to one side of the story. Get the full picture, ask questions. If someone says something, ask, okay, how did you get this information? Where did you get it from? Okay, give me the source, and on your own, go on and research. Don't just take information and swallow it. It will create a stereotype in your mind, and you'll end up working against what you're trying to build. All right, so I'm going to go to part 2. The part 1 of this whole presentation was about transparency, was about the things the benefits of transparency in society and how we can actually go ahead and implement them. But in part 2, I'm going to touch a bit about, I'm going to be discussing adapting the creative society to, the creative society to connect with people across cultures and divides. Now, there is an undertone. This is still around transparency because there is an undertone of people having the things in our mind, the beliefs, the way we perceive the world influences the way we interact with it. In some of the videos that you showed us, sorry, my son is just allow me to stop him a bit.
We can also do like this, Nicholas. So maybe we also will be able to listen to your opinion a little bit later if you are distracted right now, because I think
that's fine. I can.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, you can continue.
Okay.
All right. So now I said in part 1 I was trying to discuss. In part 1, I simply outlined the benefits of a transparent society and how we can actually implement it. But in part 2, we're dealing with basically the psychological background of all of this. If people do not think, no matter how beneficial our ideas are, no matter how much practical we can make the implementation, if people have no belief in what we are talking about, if their belief system counters it or pushes it away or rejects it, there is no amount of benefit that we can preach to them and they are going to take. There's no amount of implementation we are going to have that's going to actually work. So this part 2 is saying that we should adapt the creative society to connect with people across cultures, because cultures create different interpretations of life. All right. the way different cultures interpret things. Let me take a very, very, very common and easy example. Now, I grew up a little bit in Nigeria, okay? And now I live in Senegal, and here, cats are pretty common. There are cats everywhere here. This is a very, very simple thing, but I'm going to tell you how phenomenal it can be. There are cats everywhere. And so we have some cats in the house. My kids love the cats. And now when I'm on a video call like this and my cat climb on my table and I'm like, hey, look at my little cat. People are like, no, we don't want that. There's a rejection. I'm like, what's it about cats? Cats are nice. But culturally, there have been a history of people believing that cats are witches, all right? Even people who do not believe that now still have they still have this push against it. I use that to just to bring out that when there is a standing cultural resistance to an idea, telling them about the benefits of the idea would never penetrate it. So the best thing is to find something that builds a bridge, something that makes them see that, okay, oh, what you're talking about is actually what I already believe in. Okay, so they begin to see that, they begin to own the benefits. Let me just go ahead to the slide.
Sorry for interrupting you. I just would like to remind you that we are constrained by time, so we have like 2 more minutes for your speech.
I'm basically at the end of this.
Summarize also your points, like summarize what you would like to share it with other people.
All right. So first I said to bridge the mental divide or the cultural divide, society is complex, embrace it, don't resist it. I already explained this in all of what I talked about earlier. So we don't have to try to push society to believe something else, find something that they truly believe in and go. So the number 2 thing is the world is jaded with too many networking experiences that turn out to be hurtful experiences and complete waste of time. We must dissociate negative experiences with networking from the 6th degree of connection. So people are generally scared of people telling them, okay, there is this something I belong to and I think you're going to benefit. They just want to resist it. They're like, no, I don't want to belong to anything. All right, so we have to find a way to bridge this gap. In the last slide, I outlined basically 5 things. Hopefully this slide is going to be available to you. You can go through it. I try to make that explanatory as possible, so you can just go through it in your own time. I said what influences, so number 1 question we should ask to begin to bring this mental divide down is to ask the question, what influences this society's beliefs? So different societies have different beliefs. We need to find out what makes them act the way they act. Another thing is, we need to ask the question, how do we align the lights, that means the bright side of whatever influences our society, how do we align our message with that, okay? Without diluting the message itself and the goal of the creative society. How do you make it more acceptable in a way that they are going to see that what you're saying is what they believe in already? And that is, how do you get people in this society to own the message? How do you get them to say, oh, what you're saying is what I'm already thinking. I think I'm going to act on what you're talking about because that's already what I own. That's what I think. They need to own it as something that is theirs, not something that some people came up with. So what results do we want to see? That's one question we should ask. And how do we start getting that result today? So we don't want to wait until sometime when we have discussed and gathered too many people before we begin to take action. We need to start thinking, what action do we take right now? Like at the end of this meeting, what do we do next? What action should I take? What action should you take? Then those actions should begin to shift us towards a creative society already, and then as we grow. The last point here is, how do we support the people who the people within society who are already driving these results? How do we support microcosms, maybe a small group of people somewhere else who are not necessarily part of the Allatra right, who are not part of Allatra right now, or people who are not a part of Creative Society movement right now, but they're already moving in that direction. How do we connect with them and drive and be a part of what they are doing and basically drive what they are doing forward? These are basically ideas on how to collapse the mental divide so that we can truly spread the message. and build a more transparent society. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Nicholas. And I really like your speech and everything you said about what society is allowed to do with our, about your opinion about we should decide what society allowed to do with our money and resources and what is it not allowed to. And in creative society, there should be transparency of the information about this, of course. And if everything is transparent, we will not be supporting things that destroy our society, but what helps it. Helps other people, and everyone will feel like part of the society, making contribution, and by helping society you help everyone, including yourself, your family, children, everyone. And when it's not open, it's causing a lie. Like you talked a lot about media, and of course it's important to talk about it, and this is necessary for creative society. I agree what you said about media, that we choose what we watch and how to respond to what we see and what to believe, what not to. And of course, education plays an important role in this for people, for children. And if we learn about different things, it will be not that easy for media nowadays to fool us. We should ask questions. We should always try to get a full picture. So we need an education. Education is important in our life, and it should be free. It will be free in creative society. So we should put more efforts into connecting with people all around the world, just like what we do in our broadcasts and what we do right now on Allatra TV. And in communication with others, we exchange experience, opinions, visions on different topics. We build the bridge between countries. So we should start acting local, like you started an online radio, and start talking, sharing the truth, promoting awareness about our responsibility to building the creative society. And our next speaker is, do we have Victor? Did Victor come back?
No, Victor didn't come back.
Yeah, Victor.
And now we are having Aliu from South Sudan. He will replace Victor so far, and when Victor is back, we will give him the floor. He's a lawyer from Juba, and he will tell about human dignity. It's also very interesting to get to know his opinion about transparency in law. So Aliu, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for your patience. You have sat for quite a while. I wanted to just talk about human dignity and how to connect this human dignity as a principle that is enshrined in all our constitutions and respective countries, as a matter of basic international human rights. It centralizes well with at least two principles of these foundational principles, which is the human life and the human safety. Why human dignity has been the topic that I would like to think about and qualify as an area to present is simply from various opportunities that I've seen these presentations of videos and short videos that were shared. The principle of peace features very, very high. And there is no peace when there is a sense of injustice, And that justice is always around the principle of man eats man, if that's where the conflict is. But if we live in peace, then there will be no injustice and there will be more of a dignified approach. And if we come to realize that in a creative society that we would like to live in, human life and human sanctity and human safety are all protected, not just by law, but they are protected even in terms of principles that we believe in how we relate to one another. Then there will be no need to make all this noise we make about the respect of human rights, because simply there are people who don't believe that human rights are applicable to all. And once we are able to change that mindset, and then we believe that all people are born equal, all deserve equal rights, equal treatment, or any of these ingredients that we put, like gender, religion, etc., etc. These are things that we can, as different human beings, co-op with or learn or take upon as cultural issues or political views, but they should not undermine the basics where we are all human beings and we are all equal and we have the same desired right to live and desired right to have a purpose in life and to live comfortably and enjoy being members of society. So this is, in a general, what I wanted to anchor around human dignity, which we broke down into human life and human safety.
Well, thank you for
to come to the area therefore where we have talked about transparency. Often transparency in the international setting is dealt with as a matter that dealt with to good governance and accountability. Nonetheless, as we just heard from the previous speaker, the second thing that I would like to add, as just mentioned by the previous speaker, is that transparency also features in media, and features around at least three major concepts. The concept of access to information, and that quality of that information, because we have the misinformation, the disinformation process, which comes to be fake news, and then the third tool is propaganda, which is a utilization of information for specific purposes, normally during war and during campaigns. That's where propaganda is used. So how do we look at these media aspects in terms of, I will not talk much about the media things that were elaborated by the previous speaker, but at least I would look at the credible than the mainstream media, because often mainstream media also use concepts of propaganda to advance other interests, whether business interests or political agenda. And just to give you a few about this propaganda, tools that are used for TV, radios, and FMs, and the African continent is not an exception. We have been facing it. Even within our own countries, you will get several entities from world powers playing their own radios within our backyards, even on FM and short waves. You see BBC, Deutsche Welle, CNN, the Chinese CNGC, the Japan TV, among many, trying to reach out, not to just inform us, but so often to sell out or sell for us some of the ideas that advances their own national interests and national agenda. On the propaganda also, we talked about the influence, and these influences that disinformation all can play into people's eyes and minds and drive them to hatred and maybe even break the law. Lastly, I would look at the question of transparency in governance as a tool where the international law has advanced to encourage good governance, not necessarily just people having access to information, but people rating their own governments and their own performances. And these are open sources, not necessarily sanctioning regimes and the international law, but they are biometers where people could actually check the parameter, where you could check how your government. And that tool of itself is informative. It should help people look internally and fix their own selves and their own governance and their own societies using these tools. The challenge is that often it comes politicized. Whether the international bodies on human rights, on their own reportings, or international bodies that relate to matters of Transparency International, etc. They're good. They're doing a good job, but often also there is this interest here and there that hinders them from achieving the needed credibility where they would be relied upon, and that's also an area that needs work.
We can't hear you.
Situations where conflict targets certain ethnicities, whether they're linguistical groups or they're racial groups or ethnic groups or even geographical groups, and such hate and hate speech that is sponsored through these radio mechanisms or TVs or even internet would always arrive at the point where it creates a situation. Such situation may cause, sorry. Do you hear? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Ali, maybe you can summarize your points. Which are the most important ones? What is your message? What is your message on transparency?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Well,
You can talk if you hear.
Hello?
Yes, you can talk. I don't think
maybe
Ali
just to
hears
save
us.
time, maybe we'll get back to, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we can go back to
Do you
him
hear
when he
me now?
reconnects proper. Yes, we can hear you, Ali.
All right. The message is that society must have a mind of their own when it comes to information.
I think that the message that you are saying that we should have a more active position, because obviously that you said that the different radio channels and the mass media talking, and you talked about sponsoring hatredness.
I was summarizing actually 4 points that I would like to summarize. When it comes to transparency, transparency in international law and in governance of media, society must have a society.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ali.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us your opinion about also the need of transparency of the international law. And we have our next speaker, Jerry, who will be elaborating on this issue in his speech. And before we are coming to our speaker from Ghana, we would like to invite our technical support team, please, to show us on the screen a video clip that we also demonstrated on our conference, Creative Society, United We Can. And it shows to us in a very illustrative way why we are shy to talk about changes. Okay, technical support, please. Thank you so much.
Elephants are habituated to a rope since childhood. First, they are tied to a tree, and an elephant calf trying to escape understands that the rope is many times stronger than him. Then, already being a grown-up elephant, he no longer even makes attempts to become free, because he understands that the rope, which is stronger than him, will win anyway. And when already a human who, well, the strength of a human and an elephant is incomparable, but an elephant still submits to a human and follows him with his head down, is the same in human society.
The whole point, imagine. An ordinary human, skinny and little, is leading an elephant on a rope. Why? Because the elephant believes that the rope is holding him. Friends, we have the same thing. Nothing is holding us, except our imaginary rope. And I would simply like to say, friends, let us stop being stupid elephants, and let's become humans.
Great. So we can see that we just got used to these shackles, and we got used to this very passive position. We got used to this like artificially promote hatredness, and this is the time has come to change the future. This is the time has come to take the active position, because the climate change waits for no man, and because all of us can see what is going on, like even outside of your window you can see. So that's why it's very becoming very understandable for any robust person, yeah, so that there is a very urgent need to take actions. And now we would like also to invite our speaker, Jerry from Ghana, and now he's in Vietnam, who will be telling us about also the issue of transparency. We see that this is very deep foundation, because every time we are tackling this, we are realizing we cannot cover it till its depth. So yeah, Jerry, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much to the whole world. I think transparency is very important. That is the reason why it's one of the foundations of creative society. And what is transparency? Transparency is a situation where activities are done in an open way without secret, so that people can trust that they are and honest. So if you are doing something and there is transparency, it eliminates doubt. It also reduces confusion. Transparency itself, because if you are transparent, people value what you say. They trust your words. So it is one of the ingredients important in every woman's life. So I will be discussing transparency with regard to international relations. Ghana and Africa belongs to many international organizations, such as United Nations, Commonwealth, World Health Organization, International Criminal Court, and those things. But the question is, in those organizations that Ghana and African countries belongs to, does it really happen in those organizations? The answer is no. We all know. For example, let's take the United Nations. Ghana and most African countries belong to the United Nations. But in the United Nations, African countries, they don't have anything to contribute there. They don't have any rights. So if there is things can be done very well. For example, when you look at Africa, the population of Africa is getting to 1.5 billion. When you take Asia, Asia is getting 4.5 billion. And when you look at the population of Europe, they are also getting to 750 million. But when it comes in terms of security, now when you look at this population, which of them need more security? Of course, it's the larger number that need more security. But when you take a look at the Security Council, France, the UK, Russia, the smaller countries that had a small percentage of population, they rather need more security. So there should be transparency in those international relations that we have. Organization that many African countries belongs to, and that we are expecting more transparency, is International Criminal Courts. Since the existence of this International Criminal Courts, it has been mostly prosecuting African leaders. For example, some of the leaders that this court has prosecuted are Laurent Gbagbo from Cote d'Ivoire, Uhuru Kenyatta from Kenya, Chastela from Liberia, and more. And all those leaders are coming from Africa. So the question is, if there is transparency, can those people be prosecuted without going through the right procedure and channels? So as a creative society, we should have a society that there is transparency, so that everything can be done in a transparent manner, so that we can see, so that there wouldn't be any doubt, there wouldn't be any confusion, there wouldn't be any misunderstanding. The third one, another organization that most of African countries belong to, is the Commonwealth. Commonwealth of Nations is mostly they speak English, and they are colonies of Britain. And in those relations that they have, we have something like international trade or fair trade. So there should be a transparency in those trading. because we have agreed that we are, therefore, we're supposed to have a common trade among these countries. But it comes to therefore that you can see that it is only big countries that they rather come into African countries to operate. But African countries cannot go into their country to do business. So if there is transparency, I think we can trade among ourselves, we can do business among ourselves, because we believe that every country is unique and have got their own resources. One country resources is different from the other. Therefore, we need to cooperate and exchange so that we can coexist to provide things for our people to make their life better. So there should be a transparency in those organizations to create more life for our people. Another thing is the movement of people within those agreements. We have agreed in those organizations that we should have free movement among ourselves. But under the ground, they have their own visa to put barrier on African countries, and you cannot easily move into those countries to do business or other things. But I think if there is transparency, we can move globally to do what we can without any problem. So transparency is very important. Another one is the World Health Organization that most African countries belong to. Of course, Ghana also belongs to the World Health Organization. Thank God, Corona has come. To me, I think Corona is very good thing, because out of the trouble, we will be able to find solutions to many things. Corona has existed for only 1 year, and right now, we are trying to develop a vaccine to solve that problem. Only 1 year. The question is, how long malaria has existed in Africa? Malaria has existed, and malaria killed more people in Africa more than COVID. But still, we aren't able to find vaccine to treat malaria. Malaria killed faster than COVID, but it has lasted so much in the continent of Africa. We aren't able to find a vaccine to cure malaria. Although I am not a doctor, but because it is not affecting the bigger country, so lesser attention is being paid to it. It's because maybe the people living in there, they are not having blue eyes and pink nose, therefore they have to be ignored. Fine. So there should be a transparency within the World Health Organizations. Another thing is, anytime that they make medicines or they want to do research, sometimes they use Africa to be the test ground. It shouldn't be so. There should be transparency in all those things. If you want to conduct a test, you should explain to the people what you want to achieve. There shouldn't be any propaganda. Make sure that it's been done fairly. There shouldn't be anything undercover. No. So transparency should exist in the World Health Organization. And the last one I want to talk about is the agreement between China and most of African countries. And another question I want to ask is to everyone here today is that if you know that somebody is poor, will you be able to give loan to the person and you know very careful that the person cannot pay back, but you want to give the loan to the person? So if you know somebody is poor, will you like to give loan to that person? No, the answer is no, because you know the person cannot pay back. Right now, African countries and Ghana has made so much agreement with China that is putting much burden and heavy debt on the countries of Africa. That is really something that is very bad. Because at the end of the day, they make agreement that sometimes is not, they don't disclosure everything to the Africans. So at the end of the day, it hits the African harder, because if you are being given loan, for example, Britain can go for loan from China with an interest of 20%. But if African countries go, they will give the same loan to them, 70% of interest. It's not fair. There is no transparency in that. So we need to take a look at that. So as a creative society, we need to create society that is more fair. China today is existing in Africa, and they are there live. If you take my country, Ghana, Chinese companies and institutions are really causing harm to the natural environment. We know Ghana to have gold and other natural resources. They are digging it, destroying the forest, destroying the water bodies, destroying everything. What is the agenda that they have? There is no transparency in that. You are destroying the water body of these people. How will they survive? They will not get any better water to drink, and in the few years' time, they are going to die. You are polluting the air that they are breathing. In a few years' time, what are they going to do? They are going to die. So there should be transparency in our businesses that we do. Another thing is they are building so much infrastructure in Africa. Every 2 bridges or 5 bridges that you see in Africa, if maybe you see 5 road or 5 bridges, maybe 4 of them is built by Chinese. Now, what is the quality of this infrastructure that they are building? There is no inequality that exists in them. There should be transparency in those things. The last one I want to talk about is the agreement between the French-speaking countries in Africa and the agreement with France. This French-speaking right now, there are about 14 countries, French-speaking countries in West Africa. My numbers may set me right, but people, can we believe that these 14 countries, they don't have their own currency? Their currency is being provided by France because of the international agreement that they have. Now, the central bank is being located in France, Nice. Therefore, if they need any money that they want to support their nation, they need to go to France for France to give it to them. How can you work and you keep your salary with someone so that when you are hungry, it's the person who have to give you money? It doesn't make sense. There is no transparency in that. I think 2 years ago, these countries came together and they wanted to introduce their own currency. France rejected that. They are not going to agree. There is no transparency in that. What is the reason why you are denying that they shouldn't have their own currency? So with this kind of agreement and things, there should be transparency. Transparency is very important. Therefore, I have some few solutions that we can have as people. Therefore, transparency can exist in our society as creative society wanted. For example, education. Education of African country supposed to be redefined. We supposed to have education in Africa that reflects the personality and the understanding of African problems. For example, The education that most of African countries are having, the theories, the concepts that they are teaching them in Africa, most of them comes from the Western world. For example, theories according to Adam Smith, according to James, according to that, it does not reflect the true problem of Africa. So we need to educate our people in a way that they can identify their real problem and identify what they can do by themselves to alleviate themselves from poverty or other things. So there should be this kind of solution. The second one is enforcement of transparency. We need to enforce transparency in most of institutions in Africa. For example, we can do that through organizations such like the media. We can use the media. We can even raise leaders who will be, carrying on, transparency programs so that people can be aware of transparency. The third solution I want to mention is to remove barriers. There are so many barriers in Africa that is impeding progress. Some of them are physical, some of them are not physical. For example, things are barriers that are impeding the progress of Africa. Therefore, we have to remove those barriers. The last one I want to talk about is bribery and corruption. Bribery and corruption is something that has caused so much problems in Africa, and we have to eliminate that. There should be transparency. So we have to eliminate all those things. So as creative society, we need to carry on transparency in everything that we do in every country so that the society can be a better place to live for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Very educative, I must say. And all that Jerry was saying that I understood, if I may, is I would like to say this way, there is no transparency in our relationships. And because there is no transparency, just like Aliu before him had mentioned, wherever there is a sense of justice, then there cannot be peace. These barriers that have been built into international agreements and international relationships is making it impossible for Africa to develop. And because Africa is not developed, like I also know, they say
I think
Anu, we can't hear you.
Lost connection. Kanu, do you hear us now? Because certainly what we have just heard, it's very important things, and we should sooner or later come to this analysis of transparency of the international at the international level, but we are not and cannot blame anyone for anything, because still it's the people who decide and who agree with the current situation. So even if we understand that some international instruments, declarations, we have, for example, over 50 of declarations about protection of human rights, and still we have a violation of them, not even in Africa, in other countries as well. We must create a demand, because we as a humanity can have a clear position, what we accept and what we do not accept. And when we make our position clear, I think such problems as transparency of the international level will be solved, because people themselves will create a demand for these, for the upcoming changes. And we hope that Kanu will be back to tell us what he wanted to. And now we would like to invite Mohammed from Jordan. We are having more speakers, not only from African countries, who also would like to give their opinion on implementation of creative society. And Mohammed from Jordan, yes, if you are still online, please give us your vision.
Yes, Olga.
Thank you so
Good
much.
evening, Olga, and good evening for the all of my guys here. Really, I'm Mohammed from Jordan, so I wanted to participate in this amazing group, and I want to thank you for all of the guys who talked about the many subject here. I want to talk today about justice and equality in distribution of natural resources in Africa. I think that the majority of the people in the world don't know many information about Africa because the media not focus of Africa. Although Africa is considered one of the richest place in the world. We have to know that we have to know about African countries more information and today I discovered many countries I didn't know before really because although these countries are rich but I don't know why this happened in the world. Uh, the media unfortunately focus on the wars, on the how to killing inflicts, but don't focus about the union of the African countries, the wealth in African countries, how to collect these countries at the same place, at the same meeting, and get useful things for these countries. Uh, all the natural countries belong to the humans and fairly distributed among all the people in Africa. I told you that Africa surely is the richest place in the world, and it has a large quantity of natural uh, resources, including many things. I have a map. I don't know the support team can show this map. Oh, yeah, Olga, can you show the
I
map
think
of the?
we will go without presentation because we are limited in time and we have one more speaker who urgently needs to go. So if you could just briefly summarize, please, the points that you would like to address.
Yes, okay, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Africa contain many things like the diamond, sugar, salt, gold, iron, and other materials. Uh, this is information. This is material. Make us to interest in to how to take or to help us to make a cooperation between the countries and using the material natural material resources well and managing them and distributing this material fairly between the countries will reflect positively on the human and African citizens. And this is by African companies. African companies can work in or use these materials and this is reduce employment. This is reduce employment. I think some of the strange country out of the Africa use this material and take it to their country to use it. The distribution of the wealth helps to solve many problems and reduce the conflict. I told you that the problem in Africa is a conflict on these materials and make a strong African Union based on brotherhood love and tolerance, so that it helps people in Africa to obtain justice in their freedom of the movement and more mobility. Unfortunately, I have a video and some slides, but I don't know what happened. I sent to the group about two emails, but I don't know. The important for us how it is useful to uh, for building the good community. Uh, Good distribution for these materials give us prevents conflict between the countries in Africa. It supports the value of African citizens and countries, African countries among the world after they distribute and own all of their wealth resources. It raised the value of the economic and financial system in Africa and give them support in the world. It increased job opportunities and reduce the unemployment problem by establish the factories, establish the projects in these countries, reduce the migration. You know that some people in Africa, although their country is full of wealth and projects, but not used, search about migration to overseas to have money, to have a job. So when when the wealth are distributed to as well, these people can find their job and find the projects and find the factory which they can work in it. Uh, it create a strong and cooperative African Union, and it reflects positively on all sectors: health, education, industry, and trade. And it helps to solve borders problem and free movement for the people between the African countries. Uh, uh, Promotes security and safety for the people. You know, in the video, I wanted to show many information, but unfortunately, I haven't now in my computer. That's it. I wanted to participate, you to support this project. We need from the media how to apply the project in the community. We need from the media to support, to tell the people in all the world that Africa is the important place. We need to make awareness for the citizens, the people, that their countries have a good or expensive materials. We need from the governments to sit in the one table and make a meetings and collect the decisions. When decisions reflect on the people, when decisions reflect on the future of the people. It's steps. We want to start one steps to make awareness for the government, to remind the people, to remind the rich or big countries in the world, like United States, like Russia, like everywhere. We can remind them that Africa is important, not for the slippery, not for the only forgetting countries, I need from you to tell us more about the unknown countries, because I told you that today I discovered that there are countries in my list for the Jordanian who are allowed to go to them. Nobody here know about these countries, so we need to make participation between the group, between the people. We encourage many people to join our group to let them know about many information about Africa. This is support today, not as tomorrow. Every day we have to increase our support to this project. I apologize for from you to I don't have slides, so I have enough time. I can send to you, but now I don't have enough time. So thank you, and I hope that see you every next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad from Jordan. Beautiful points there. And I think if I say this way, Muhammad was pointing out the fact that if one human being anywhere in the world, is disfranchised from realizing himself or herself as a human, then the whole people in the whole world are equally disfranchised. So the big countries, the super countries, the developed world, should not think that they are developed, they have all that it takes. As long as Africa is not carried along, then there is a big problem in the world. That development is not equal. And like I was saying before, the internet rudely booted me out. It's all about consumer mindset. The fear that the world resources will not be enough for everybody, or the fear that if we do not dominate certain people, then we will not assert our superiority. It's all based on consumer mindset. In the creative society, this psychological and physical fear of domination and profit will not have any place. In the creative society, there is collaboration, there is cooperation, both in scientific, industrial, technology, and in all aspects of life. So that what is developed in Jordan, what is developed in China or United States, or even in Africa, can be shared for the development of all humans, just like Jordan is saying. And I would also want to inform us that viewers, dear guests, you could, tune into our website. You could, explore further information from our website, especially the Allatraunites.com TV English, where there are some programs, some creative programs that you could listen to with the participation of Igra Mikhailov Danilov. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing that name very well. But you could watch such programs and it will throw more light on what you are saying, that if we truly implement the creative society, then this psychological thing about I'm an African, I'm a Ukrainian, I'm a Russian, we'll be looking at ourselves as humans. So every scientific development, every technological development, every economic development will be for the empowerment of human, for the advancement of human, not for the advancement of Nigeria or for the advancement of just ethnicity, which, like I said when I was giving my own presentation, is all psychological, just calling another person inferior. If he's not with us, then he's against us. These are all consumer-oriented mentality, which we will do away with creative society. And yes, that is why I fully agree with you, Mohammed, that we should increase our support for this creative initiative. The more people get to know about this creative society, the more people get to know about what we're talking about, the better, the sooner the mindset of this consumer orientation will begin to change. And so I would also like to go back a little bit to those programs I talked about. There are programs with the participation of Igra Mikhailov Danilov, in which we could, for example, you could refer to, like I said before, Prospects of Civilization. There is also the program on what is creative society. You could refer to these programs and you derive some more information on this, which we're discussing today. Thank you for that beautiful speech, Mohammed. Thank you for that beautiful speech, Jerry. Thank you for those beautiful speech from everybody. Yes, Olga, Jeffy wants something to add something to what I've said.
Thank you, Kanu. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Thank you. I want to apologize from my colleague Aweda. She didn't come because something wrong in the electric cut, so the charge of her mobile is off. She didn't come, so I called her by international call. She had emergency. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. I hope she'll join us for the next Bridge of Friendship. And I really liked your point, and I really agree with you that Africa is very rich in resources, cultures, ancient history, and we have a lot to learn and from them and from you people who join us today. And I really like your offer to raise and promote awareness that Africa is an important place and the whole world, you know, needs to build a bridge to Africa, support African countries and support great and kind people of Africa. And thank you very much. That's what I wanted to add. And now I believe we have one more speaker. One more speaker. Mm-hmm. And who is our last speaker is Sahid. Sahid,
yeah,
do you
hello?
hear us?
Yes,
you
hello?
would like to hear, to hear you.
Hello? Hello, everyone.
And for those who's not speaking right now, could you please mute your microphones? And Sahid, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I've been listening to the last speaker, Mr. Mohammed from Jordan, and I think it's a very nice presentation. I've not been able to get more of the previous speakers because I've been quite in between, you know, but I think I have a few minutes to kind of make my contribution. I want to look at climate change. Climate change in Africa, it's a big issue. Africa is the most vulnerable in terms of climate change. One, technologically, we are far behind in terms of how we can challenge the threats that climate change is bringing. Number two, we get the bad things that most industrial countries, their waste comes and get dumped in Africa. So this is another big issue. But then look on the basic, the farming side. Our irrigation system is very, very poor. Most of the farmers totally rely on rain. Over 90% of our farming relies on rain. If there is no rain, then they have very difficult thing in terms of planting the crops or harvesting on time. If there are too much of rain, also it affects their crops as well. So irrigation system is a big issue, which as a whole contributes to the amount of food we can produce for the continent. If you look at the sub-Saharan Africa countries in particular, they are the most vulnerable, you know, from the Sahel region downwards. Which is why, in terms of climate change, Africa needs a lot of investment in terms of ensuring that countries that don't have the capability can be able to withstand the test of time. In my country, particularly Sierra Leone, we have seen the effects of climate change. Recently, we had a mudslide that resulted in the death of many people. We have seen also the vast, rapid decline of our forest. And this, as a result, is causing the pattern of rainfall that we used to have is in decline. When I was small, I used to see a lot of rain. The weather was always in a very good way. But as of now, we see that the amount of rainfall in terms of the months that is linked to the rainy season is very short. We are now getting a lot of humid and hot weather. The Harmattan season that used to come, especially in mid-December, January, is very difficult now to experience. We also see that the coastline is fast chopping off the land. Where there is not used to be sea or sand, is now all been washed away. These beautiful coastlines are all been washed away by the advanced sea, the ocean. This is a very great concern. So we find out fishing villages that used to rely on fishing, most of them have to abandon their sustenance from fishing because of the erosion that's been caused by the advanced sea. And there's no investment in terms of protecting this coastline. So in such, I just want to say that Africa needs a lot in terms of technological help. Africa needs a lot in terms of knowledge, how to tackle climate change, and also policies, because when you look at climate change, it's a global phenomenon, but it ends where the poor countries which don't have policies, better technology to counterattack the effect will suffer the most. And that's what we are saying. So the richer countries are protecting their forests, but they are coming to Africa to take most of the wood and everything to furnish their apartments. And without better policies, this is causing a lot of deforestation in Africa, from China to everywhere. Furniture companies are bribing their way, chopping down the forest so that their business can keep flowing. If you look at places like DR Congo, which has a very fast amount of forest, there's steady decline in the forest in DR Congo. If you go to places like in Kanzama region in Senegal, you see that a lot of deforestation is going on. Wherein you have the chopping of the infamous redwood. Illegal logging is causing a lot of deforestation. And most of this illegal logging is caused by big farms in developed countries, in rich countries, pursuing their bandits to do this illegal logging to transport these woods for their furniture making in these bigger companies in China, in other parts of the rich countries' world. So this is a big, very, very big issue. Because of the big policies in Africa to counterattack these environmental issues, what we are seeing is that in my country, especially in my city, used to have a very beautiful covered forest around the peninsula. But as of now, if you come to Freetown, you see that all the mountains, the hills, are just empty. There is no forest absolutely, because of also poor city planning and also deforestation. And also, we know that climate change, the forests play a big role in terms of the forests play a big role in the issue of global warming. And so without the forest within the next 50 years, I am sure many African countries will suffer. Because if we have the forest, it's not only Africa that will enjoy the benefit of it, but the rest of the world will do. If you look at the effect that the Amazon forest is having on the world climate itself, it's huge. So just think about it. If we lose the Amazon forest, what effect it will have for many parts of the world. So just think about it and try to help Africa to ensure that our forests become more greener and sustainable going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Said. It was very good. Said mentioned this point. In fact, it's very, very interesting. I remember the first time that I participated in climate change reports, breaking news. I was told to prepare a report on climate change in my country. And from what I learned from school, I was concentrating on those global warming, human factors that contribute to, climate change and all that. I remember the editor I sent my report to, she used one word. What was that word again? Something to do with this the human concept of climate change, human angle to climate change. The real climate change, like Said is saying, you see, we could see it's already taking effect in our different countries. Like when I reported for the breaking news in Kenya, most of the East African countries, we could see the flooding, the earthquake, the frequency at which these things are occurring. There are things that should really get us concerned, like he is saying. And I also know some years back, we had this problem of terrorism, insecurity in my country. And I remember what the presidency said, that this terrorism has its origin especially in climate change. The climate is changing in so many of the African countries, neighboring African countries, and then this is forcing migration. And then the funny aspect of it is that we are thinking that it's not our concern. Well, if they don't have it, they shouldn't come to our land. This is where it is important that we begin to think as to what we can do to assist ourselves. And I think that is where that presentation about global emergency situation services is very, very is apt to what we are discussing. Because if we have a global, in creative society, that is, we have a global emergency service response squad, let me use that word. It will be possible to, even for one, like he is saying, we need capacity, which we lack in African countries. It will be possible to run where these cataclysms are going to happen, where earthquake is going to, where this flooding, where this climate change, and then people could be evacuated and lives at least could be saved. I would want to also introduce you on one of the creative society projects is on climate change. And like I just mentioned to you, we have the breaking news, climate change. You could tune into the channels, TV and radio channel on www.Allatra TV, climate change, the future is now. Sorry, the climate, the future is now. And you will hear that title, the future is now, and you might be wondering, why is the future now? It may not be happening to Africa, where we stay. Maybe it's not happening in Nigeria right away. It may not be happening in Sudan, South Sudan right away, but it's already happening. There is this thing, when I did some research, the cyclicity of, how do I put it, nature cyclicity. And it's said that after roughly about every 12,000 years, that the polar axis change. And that is what we are witnessing in our generation, in our time. And it is important that we take all necessary measures. And this can only happen not with the consumer-oriented society where people are interested in making profits. People are even interested that perhaps the melting ice at the Northern Pole, maybe there will be some discoveries made, and so they could use their soldiers, send their soldiers there to to be the first to capture whatever is discovered and for their own use and benefit. No, in the creative society, it's about cooperation, it's about collaboration. And I think that is why it's very important what we are discussing today. And pardon me to also please share something with you on climatology. There's a climate report which you can also get from Allatraunites.org on the pages of climatology report. It's an online program. You could also explore further information on climate changes there. And we hope that what we are discussing today, viewers, you are listening, and that you see the need why it is important we pass information that the creative society is a dream that should come true as soon as possible so that collaboration can save humanity. Thank you, Sahid, for that wonderful report. I'll give the mic to Olga Andriva, who wants to add something to what I've just said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanu, because we also realized, like in Russia, we also having climate change, and it's influenced also us. For example, when the roads are blocked by snow and the ambulance sometimes cannot come and save the life, and we can see that it's very unpredictable. The precipitation is coming, so we cannot. We obviously understand that Africa is going through very hard times in terms that the African rift is tearing the continent apart. But also in Russia, we do have climatic problems, as well as in America with the Yellowstone volcano is getting active. So the only way is not to complain, because if you complain that the situation is bad here, is bad over there, it's just to consolidate. And now our technical support team will show us the video with Igor Mikhailovich Danilov, the abstract of this video, Climate, the Future is Now. Thank you so much.
You see, and no futurologist will tell you what will happen tomorrow, if people really want this. You know, if people went ahead and changed the situation, and it will no longer be that way. This opportunity is given to a human. The main thing is for him to use it.
Igor Mikhailovich, are there, let's say, any ways to soften and somehow change
the future?
Yes.
This is people's choice. This is people's world. It's your world and you create it. But whether to Satan's dictation or by the inner spiritual aspiration, well, the choice is yours. That's the point. Freedom of choice. This is really the freedom of choice. To live or die, to be or not to be. It's people who decide and choose. Nobody will do it for them. Even the devil cannot dictate here what to do, how and how to behave. This is a choice of people.
You've also said that it's basically impossible to avoid cataclysms, but they could be not so... Their consequences could be not so...
Yes, let's say, not so disastrous for humanity.
Yes, but simply observing what is happening in the modern world, because after all, there are many attempts to change the situation or to stop hurricanes.
Humanity is just unable, well, here is important to take into account something else. For example, modern technologies, let's say, theoretically, they can make it possible to slightly decrease the level of wind speed, the destructive level of that very hurricane, right? But there's the energy conservation law. If they decrease it at one point, it will increase at other points. It's inevitable. And then, having picked up speed and steam, it will come back only with greater power. And what did they win? After all, everything that happens here in the visible world originates in the invisible world.
That is...
A simple example. You read and you see. And everything that you see and read originates there in the boards, and these are just ones and zeros. While here you see the text which you read to us. Here's a simple example.
Meaning?
That's where it should be changed. But again, it can be changed there as long as there is energy in this tablet. And today we've said that, well, to put it simply, humanity can recharge its tablet. Otherwise, its battery will simply be removed.
Thank you so much to all our technical support team and also to our guests. And would like to ask if maybe some of you have proposals for the upcoming topics for discussion in the telebridges. Someone of you maybe have questions. Jerry, Kanu, yeah, those people who are still with us, we know that Jerry is in Vietnam, so I think there is a night over there, and Huda also, the doctor from South Sudan, she's still with us. So please tell us your opinion. What are the burning issues you would like to address, and just don't be silent. This is the message.
Okay, Olga. I can see we all have focused on like some of the aid foundations, and I think there are 2 or 3 of them that we didn't actually elaborate on more, especially the AIDS point, which I myself still don't know a lot about. I need to know more. Maybe in the next session we can see people with certain specialties who can tell us more about these issues.
Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, Kanu, Jerry, what is your feedback? Jerry, I know you have a very beautiful smile, but this is your feedback. Okay, it's also very nice. I mean, we do appreciate it. But if you would like to say something, please unmute yourself, because I think, yeah, you didn't unmute yourself.
Yes, I think I don't have much to say. Is that I'm thinking about how we can come together to make sure that the dreams and the goal of creative society is being implemented so that it can be benefit to the whole world, because humans are very important. Without the existence of human beings, this world is nothing. So I'm only thinking about how best we can bring these strategies together, how we can carry on, how we can pull resources and ideas together so that we can realize that dream that we are all waiting for, where we want the creative society to get to. So that's what I'm thinking about so far.
And I'm also thinking along that line too, like Huda suggested. It would be nice if we could have a roundtable where maybe we invite professionals from Africa too, so that we start looking at some of those how do I put it, ideas on the Aid Foundation. We start looking at them and see from this angle, what perspective, how can we strategize to bring them about? Let's say, for example, we talk so much about provision of free necessities of life, like food, housing, shelter, housing, medical care, social security. Maybe we could invite professionals. Let's talk about things like that. We are talking about maybe on the Aid Foundation, where we're talking about self-governing society, where we're saying every person should take responsibility for living conditions in his area. We could invite professionals to at least discuss some of, maybe from legal perspective. Jerry Island is a lawyer. We could discuss, how do we legislate laws that we could ensure that everybody has access to some of these ideas.
Yeah.
So my suggestion, Olga, sorry, Huda, go
yeah,
on.
the issue of governing the the society by the people, like you for people by people. This idea worth elaborating more about, I believe.
Yeah,
Certainly.
it's really, yeah.
Now we have also Sahid with us. We just will give him the chance to give his feedback, because just to make sure he's not losing connection. Sahid.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I think it's quite very interesting listening to the various speakers, everybody enlightening important issues, things that we hope policies can influence policies. Existing policies can take from what we are discussing and make them better. If there have not been new policies in certain areas, this can help for policies to be created. So as we move along to the path of one creative world, one creative human race, I think this is a very good starting point where everybody have not met Olga in person, but it has created a unique platform wherein I can talk to Olga, I can talk to Mr. Kanu, I can talk to Olga Jaffrey, Yuda, and Mr. Cherry, and so many other faces that I've seen for the past days. And, it's created a very unique platform. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges, but one thing, once the human mind comes together, it can overcome this platform, because we are a unique species in this planet, and we have the capability to do so. So it erases the boundaries between races and tribes and from everybody. So I see everybody equal, and I see that we're exchanging ideas in a very equal, respectable way. So I think it's a very good start, and I hope that we can reach that goal that we all crave for. We are every human mind, it's one, and we all share ideas together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sahid, and everyone for joining today. And people have stopped being silent, silent about the important problems of our society. And really, if we all want to live in a world of happiness and love, why do we have a world of violence and destruction? We need to build a different, creative world, and we know that we can do it. And we have creative society. We have the way out, a creative society with quality healthcare, education, with the opportunity to travel around the world and live in a society in which humanity, mutual understanding, and love prevails. So, and millions of people today choose this format of society. And I want to invite again to the Global Online Conference on 20th of March 2021, a creative society, what the prophets dreamed of. And this is an unprecedented event in modern history, initiated by people themselves from all over the world. And we don't need revolution, we need an evolution. And by uniting for a common goal, we can change the course of the history. And what can we do to start building the happy world, the creative society for our families, children, for everyone, is to spread this idea, to share the information about creative society. And I want to invite everyone to join Creative Society Project. It's very easy to do. All you need to go to Allatraunites.com website and click on join button. Choose the way you would like to participate in, and maybe technical support will show us the very, very short clip on how to do it. And okay, and by joining the project, and you can send your vision, you can share your ideas, and all together there is so many of us. If every one of us will share ideas, will share their opinion and vision, we'll have the great picture, and this is the acting, the informing everyone about creative society. Before everyone finds out about creative society, we can't move forwards, because we need people, first of all, to know it's possible, to know it's all up to us, and this will help us to build it. So I want to invite everyone to watch a short video we prepared for today, for the end of our broadcast. And before we see it, I want to say again, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you so much for this reminder again. So we just would like to highlight that we are all our telebridges and projects of 6 degrees of connection. We are basing on 8 foundations for the creative society, because this is what people told us. This is what we collected from numerous interviews in different countries, not only online, but also like physical interviews with different professors, scholars, students. Everyone wanted to give their opinion on that changes they want to see. And everybody we agree that the problem is not in the essence that we are saying that someone is doing wrong. The problem actually in this consumer relations in our society. And the problem is that in this animal nature that prevails in us, in humans, our project Universal Green showed to us that everybody wants to develop the angel inside. So let us develop that qualities in all of us. And we would like to thank everyone for being with us today. And we'll watch the last video clip about a very interesting topic when the people from different planets came to the Earth, and what they asked and what was the answer of the people, inhabitants of the Earth, to them. So please, our technical support team, show it, this video clip to us. Thank you so much.
aliens came to Earth. At first, they flew around it, saw everything, and then decided to talk to the people on Earth. They asked, "Why do you have so much garbage and garbage cans?" "Well, this is because we don't have enough money to build waste processing plants." "But why do you have so many hungry and homeless people?" "Well, this is because we don't have enough money to feed them and build houses for them." "But why are you constantly at war with each other?" "This is because we don't have enough money and we're trying to take it away from others." The aliens scratched their heads and said, "We fly around galaxies, have explored many worlds and planets, but have never met such a rare and, as it turns out, such a very necessary resource as money. Could you show us what it looks like and show where you get it in space? Then we will try to get it, bring you more of this money, and help you establish harmony on your planet." "We don't fly anywhere to get money," the Earthlings answer. "We print it ourselves." "Yourselves?" said the aliens. "Yes." After this answer, Earthlings were deleted from the list of intelligent beings.